Okay, so it says the function P gives the number of people in millions who own a smartphone T years after the year 2000. Okay, so question 1. What does the equation tell us about smartphone ownership? Question A, P of 17 equals 2,320. So can somebody convert that to words or have a good guess?
17 million people have an iPhone after 2,320 years.
Man.
That confuses me.
Yeah, well, that confused me.
I don't get it.
Yeah, not quite. So what does P represent? People in millions. And what does T represent? Years after 2000. So when I look at this function notation, do you guys see P? Yes. Do you see T? Where would T normally go? Where the 17 is. Which means 17 has taken the place of T. So what do you guys think the number 17 represents? 17 years after 2000, which is the year.
Okay, that's why I was confused, because I was like, it ain't year 4,320.
No kidding. So it's 2017. So in 2017, what happened? That's it?
No, it's in millions. So
2,320 million people.
Wait, how many people?
2,320 million. That's not a number?
No.
If you want to convert it, you can. So what would 2,320 million people be? 2.32 billion. Or 2,320,000,000. You can convert it. Or you can leave it. It doesn't. We're not going to get caught up in all that in this class for now. That's just like, do you say 1,500 or do you say 1,500? It depends. So 1,500 is not a real thing either, right? It's the same thing here as 2,320 million. So you're right. That's not the proper way to say it, but we're from Sand Mountain. Nobody expects much from us, anyways. If you look at the second one, P of -10 equals 0.
In 1990, 0 people had more.
0 million people.
0 millions. In 1990, that's very good. That is the correct year. No one had a smartphone. Okay? Now we're going the other direction. So now that we're given the words, we want to make it into a function notation, a function statement. So in 2010, the number of people who owned a smartphone was 296,600,000. So can you try to write that in mathy phrase? Anybody got a shot at it?
P10 equals
2,966.
Okay. close-ish. That's the correct Y value. And then here's the way we want to read that. So you guys said P10. We want to say that as P of 10. Okay, when we say that in words. So it's P of 10. That way, even though we're from Sand Mountain, we want to say that part correctly. Okay, let's sound a little math-telligent. Is that a thing? I don't know. And it would be 296.6. Because if you wrote 2966, you'd be saying there's that many million, which would be 2 billion, right? Just like we had before. 296.6. Just like what's up here on the board. P of 10 equals 296.6. This would be 296 million and then part of another million. Right? 6/10 of the next million. Okay? B in 2015, 1.86 billion on a smartphone.
P of 15 equals 1,860.
That's it. P of 15 equals 1,860. That's right. Questions there? 3A. Mai is curious about the value of t in P of t equals 1,000. So, what's Mai really curious about? What's she wanting to find out?
What year it goes?
What year what?
How many years after 2000?
Did what happen?
Smartphones. The number of smartphones.
What year 1 billion people on the smartphone?
That's it. 1 billion people. Because we're at 1,000 million. And she's looking for T, the year. So she's asking how many years after 2000 did we have 1 billion people owning a smartphone? I don't have room to write that on mine. It's going to be too difficult. Is everybody okay with me just saying that one verbally? You can write it down on yours. All right. My buddy thinks the answer's 4. What do you guys think? Why not? No, you're just going by seams. You're going by feelings. Math's not based on feelings. We don't care about your feelings. Okay. I care less about any of y'all. No, I'm just kidding. That sounds harsh. Sounds harsh. I'll take that back. I care deeply about every one of you. That's why I went into education. I just really wanted Crispitos once a month. That's all we were looking for. I agree that it's probably not 4. But I need a little more fact to that. I need a little more.
Because in 2010, they had turned 96 million.
So that's
Oh,
less.
so it's got to be less
1
than
million.
that.
Why?
Because it's earlier.
Yeah. People wanted homes, you know.
Because they're saying it's 4.
Who wouldn't want to buy
They didn't have a good deal.
Yeah, and or not anymore.
You're 3/4 of the way there. You're 3/4 of the way there. So in 2010, we were not yet to 1 billion. So in 2004, would there have been 1 billion?
No.
Why?
Because it's less than it wasn't going to.
How do you know?
Because look at
Math.
it. It says it right there. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. If we were looking at but I'm trying to think of an example. if we were looking at the number of DVDs bought in the year after 2000, what's happening to that value?
It should. No, it's gonna go down.
We would think it would steadily go down until it becomes obsolete. Now there was a point, here's the deal. There was a point when DVDs first came out that everybody had a VCR, right? They didn't want to buy DVDs. And so what would that graph look like? Well, it would have started low, it would eventually went up, and then what happened? Then people could just stream it without a DVD, and so then it should start to go back down until now DVD sales, we're not at zero yet, but we're headed that way, right? DVDs are eventually going to be just like a VHS. Nobody's going to buy them.
He said he didn't know what a VHS was.
You know what a VHS is? I'll show you in a second. Just remind me. Do you know what a VHS is? Okay. All my movies when I was a kid are on VHS. That's what we had, and I used to record. Don't get this. Okay, let me get this point across, and I'll go down my VHS rabbit trail. Train of thought gone. What I'm saying is, in this case, the sales were low, went up, went down. What about sales of smartphones? They started low. They're going up, and currently, it'd still be going up, right? The number of people that own a smartphone has not started to go back down yet. So we expect that this graph is only increasing. And because it would only be increasing, that's the part you left out. Because we expect the graph to be increasing, and in 2010, there still weren't a billion people, then there's no way in 2004 a billion people had it. That would look like this kind of graph, where it went up and now then we're starting to decrease. It's not what's happening with smartphones yet. Okay? Everybody follow that? That's just the piece we were missing. We need to make sure we make that clear. So is 4 a possible value? No. Why not?
Because it's not, they weren't popular. They weren't increasing.
Because, no, it was increasing. In 2010, you guys didn't put together what I was saying. In 2010, there were only 296 million smartphones sold. And because we expect this graph to only be increasing, there would have been less than that number in 2004. Right? You need all of that. Not it's less popular. They were very popular. They were just very expensive. In 2010, there were only 296 million smartphones sold. And because we expect this value to always have been increasing through the years, then in 2004, we expect there to have been less than the amount sold in 2010. Right? It doesn't have to be exactly that word for word, but it needs to be that sentiment being expressed. Okay, so we're going to take every piece of information we have and we're going to put it on a graph. So we saw in 1990, how many smartphones were there? 0. We saw in 2017, there were 2,320 million. So 17, 2,320. That should be somewhere right in here. Right, is everybody okay with putting that on a graph? Or do I need to go over that? Right, I went over to 17, up to 2,320. Again, the way it's labeled, if this is 2,000, And this is 2,400. What's this line? 2,200. Yeah, 2,200. Same thing. So then this would be halfway would be 2,300. So just barely above halfway, right, for 2320. Is it okay with all the? Cool, cool. We know in 2010, P of 10 was 296.6. So in 10, we were at 296, which would be about right here. And we know in 15, we were at 18,600. It's going to be just above 18. Right, that's the only 4 piece of information we know. Right, 4 ordered pairs. They told us. Everybody okay where I got those ordered pairs from? The X and the Y, the T and the P. And so that's what we know. So we could kind of guess what the growth of smartphones would look like. It would be... Did it tell me in the wording? I don't remember. It does not tell me how many there were in 2000. Okay, I just was curious. So the graph would look something like that, right? Very low ownership of smartphones through the 90s, even low all the way up to 2010. I got my first smartphone in 2010 that had capability to connect to the internet. I had other ones that could have connected, but my parents didn't have those bought, the internet package bought with my phone. For my first iPhone, the summer after I graduated high school. Could y'all have survived? Look at y'all, look at all those iPhones. Summer after I graduated.